Welcome back to another episode of the Armchair Pundits WSL Week in Review Show. We have reached Gameweek 20 and we're almost to the end of the season, and there's been a few shocks this weekend. Some that normally happen after international breaks, but definitely weren't expected. So, as I already mentioned, Gameweek 20 produced one genuine title shock, with Man City losing. We had a major officiating row with a goal that should have been given in the Chelsea game, and a scoreless draw that Leon was at, and he will tell us more on. And my Liverpool somehow losing a game we shouldn't have lost, 1-0. And he also had Chelsea destroying Everton, and Sam Kerr equaling the Chelsea all-time goal-scoring record for WSL. So, we normally start with the bigger games, but I'm going to switch it around. Since Leon was at the stadium, Tottenham Stadium, why not start there? And he was obviously playing against Man United, so it's a good place to start. But before we do start, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, and hit the notification button. So Leon, how was it? Obviously, you've been to a lot of the men's games at the stadium, but women's game at your stadium, how was it?
Yeah, it was good. The game wasn't fantastic, but from an action perspective, but the atmosphere was a good atmosphere, good crowd. Obviously very different from the men's game, a lot more relaxed atmosphere, but good. In terms of the game, felt Tottenham dominated. We had more possession, had more chances on goal, but nothing really like clear cut. I would say big chances created. Definitely a lot of build-up play. United, they were kind of playing on a counter-attack. They had a couple of big players on the bench, that they had Ella Toon on the bench and Mallard, who both came on. But no, it did feel like Tottenham kind of controlled the game, but without really, really, really testing Man United enough in key areas, and sometimes just making the wrong choice in the final third, which is a familiar story with Tottenham this season. But honestly, in terms of performance, I was impressed with the way that we controlled the game. A little bit disappointed from a Man United perspective, because I felt like, I don't know whether they were feeling a bit leggy because it's been a long season or the international break coming back. But they didn't seem anything like the team that we played earlier on in the season, when I think Man United absolutely destroyed us footballing wise. Even though this game, I felt like Tottenham really had an opportunity to pull off what would have been a fairly shock win.
22 shots to Man United's 10. It says a lot, considering we were obviously it was away from home, but the North London derby. It was a good bounce. Obviously, you didn't win a game, but it's good to bounce back from that defeat. So, Lamont, how do you find it?
You know what? To be honest, I feel like there needs to be an inquest with Skinner.
Serious?
Do you know why I say that? No, do you know why I say that? Is because, all right, fair enough. Even if we won or we beat Spurs, we're not going to be necessarily edging that much closer to, I think it's like Chelsea sitting in second, because Arsenal got like what, three or four games in hand now. So realistically, I reckon it's going to be City, Chelsea and Arsenal fighting for the top three. But I feel like you need to have a little bit of integrity when you're going to play any side that you dominated earlier in the season. You can't go in there at this point in the season and take things for granted. Now, when you have your big hitters on the bench, and all right, Leon, you say, we just come back from international break, so, that could be the reason why the squad selection was what it was. Start with your strongest team. If you need to take guys, players off, take them off, and then bring on, some fresh legs. You don't do it the reverse way around, because what happens is what happened. United look very blank, devoid of ideas. defensively, we had a lot of frailties. I mean, our keeper, I would argue that, Tullis Joyce, she was probably the best player because she had to do the most work. If it weren't for her, it would have been embarrassing. Yeah, all right, you could probably say that, Spurs missed the target a few times, but boy, oh boy, it could have been, double figures if we weren't careful. There was no other real standout player there for me. And that's a little bit worrying. We're meant to be, emerging as a bigger club in the WSL and looking to, almost entice other players to come and want to play for us. But if you can't beat Spurs, are you really emerging? We beat them 2-1.
Spurs have been good this season, though, bro.
Listen,
They've been good, bro.
I'm comparing it to the last time we played them, in terms of it looked like I think I even said it in the last pod, it looked like women against girls. It was that different because we were at it. But it's almost like the roles reversed. Stats and everything. Like the only thing that didn't was the scoreline. And I feel like we were lucky to get away with a point.
The thing is, though,
you were home last time. You're away this time. That makes a difference. I don't know. Like, you're talking like you were playing against Leicester to me. You weren't playing Leicester. They're only 9 points behind you. It's not that big a difference between you and them.
No, this is a massively improved version of Tottenham.
Yeah.
For sure. And obviously, London Derby and Man City match aside, we've competed in most games. I mean, even that game that we lost to, wasn't we like 3-0 up and then you lot came back to win 4-3 in the last minute or something? Wasn't it that game?
Mate, again, Skinner, Inquest. Do we want him there next season? Like, literally, learn your lesson, fella. Like, Tullis Joyce is only going to be able to save you so many times.
So what needs to change then? What are you going to have to get? Because
I feel like we need to really look at getting... So we've got a very good front line when they're all at it, but we don't really have a backup. So I feel like we need to have like some good deputies that can step in and really make, the likes of Schlur and even, Maillard and Rolfie kind of fight for places so they are at their top level every week and they could turn a game around. Riviera, what should I say? Riveri, she has good games, but she also has moments where, she wants to make, petulant tackles or get herself like, lose her head in important games where things are quite tight. We need a stronger bench for me, and then the first 11 will definitely stand up and want to be counted when it matters against teams like Spurs, where realistically we want to go there, get 3 points, and dust ourselves off after the international break. Because the draw for me is just not. It's not good enough.
By and large, you've beaten the other teams. It's been your games against the bigger teams, the Chelseas, the Man Cities, and the Arsenals, where you guys have kind of been found wanting. Whereas some of those other sides, they've done all right against some of the big sides, and then like dropped off and dropped points against some of the sides they've expected to beat. So maybe there's still progression there. Like, you guys are behind the Chelseas, the Man Cities, and the Arsenals in terms of your development. You're kind of playing catch up a little bit, and the fact that you managed to get Europe was a great achievement last season. And obviously, you want to build on that. And I think, you do need to bring in some players to give you a little bit more attacking impetus. But it's progress, man. Like, obviously, you're in, as much as you're saying that you're expecting Arsenal to kind of catch up with the games in hand, like, you've competed in the league, and I think it's just finding a way in those bigger matches to have the quality to be able to take them on and be able to win those games.
Can I ask you a question? Arsenal go all the way, or even Chelsea. Chelsea's still in the Champions League, right? They are, I'm sure.
No, they
no. Right. So if Arsenal
beat them.
No, it's Arsenal.
So Arsenal go all the way and win it. does that open up an extra place in the WSL in England or not? Because I know it does in the men's game, but I'm not too sure if the same reward is warranted in WSL.
I don't know about that, then, I don't know.
That
Do-
might
do-
have been what happened last season, to be fair, because I thought it was a top 2 going to the Champions League, but maybe because Arsenal won it last year, that's how you guys got the extra Champions League place this year. That's what I think, but don't quote me. But obviously
that
this
being
time,
said, yeah,
like, you could end up 4th rather
that's
than...
my point. That's my point. So that being said, we're looking like our form's a little bit up and down. So, I mean, the last time we played in the league, we lost 3-0 to a good City side. And before that, obviously, we beat Everton. But I feel like we need to just put games to bed because we do get chances. But yeah, I weren't happy with the overall performance against Spurs, to be fair. Defensively, we were just all over the place.
I wasn't expecting the kind of game that it was, to be honest with you. I expected to see a better version of Man United and
I mean,
did,
to be fair, I think it's a bit unfair to be saying that you should go there and smash Spurs because Man United don't often smash them a lot. To be honest,
No, I weren't saying we should have smashed them, Bev. I'm just saying that we should have beat them and taken the 3 points.
maybe, but if you look at your record against Tottenham, it's a lot closer than you think. There's a lot more draws in there. They've beaten you. You've beaten them. It's a lot closer. So, and like at this time of the season, I get like you saying about the Champions League and maybe if Arsenal get in there, that there might be an extra spot for you to be in there as well. But I mean, really and truly, if that isn't the case, then we're at that point of the season where what is there really to play for? And I know we can talk about pride and stuff like that, but there's a couple of games left. Sometimes players down tools, man. They want to go home. They want to go on their holidays. They're already on the beach, innit? In mobs. And do you know what I mean?
yeah, I think Mo's been a little bit disrespectful still because
Frustration,
I
bro.
think I even got the score wrong. You lot didn't even win. We drew 3-3 and we were 3-0 up, and there's the typical Tottenham collapse. But we should have buried that game, being 3-0 up. As much as footballing wise, you guys dominated. You can't just be thinking you're gonna just rock up to the lane and just duppy us like this. Come on,
No,
Mo.
but no. But yeah, you see, now you don't say I'm being disrespectful, yeah. But even when you guys went 3-0 up, we were peppering you. So it was because we were shooting blanks. The reason why you guys were we didn't score multiple goals in the first half. Let's be right. All right. So I get it. Like it ended 3-3, but the score doesn't necessarily do the eye test justice.
And now, but there's 0-0 on Sunday either.
Yeah, all right, cool. So you got it back. Yeah, all right, cool. So you got it back.
Hey, bruvs, Obi-Wan said, "Don't trust your eyes. They don't. Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them." So you can say about the eye test, bruvs, because on Sunday you should have been bopped off the park.
Yeah, bro.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was a good game. It wasn't the most exciting game, but it was a good game. So we'll move on. Move on to the shock of the weekend. Because the big shock was Brighton. The first 4 minutes, 5-6 minutes, Man City could score at will. Like, straight from kickoff, they gave the ball to...
Carolyn, innit? Hey, Carolyn?
No. They gave it to Barney Shaw. Straight from kickoff, they gave the ball to Barney Shaw, who should have passed to Carolyn. I think Carolyn got it, had a shot. So you're right in terms it was Carolyn that had the shot. And it should have been 1-0 after like 30 seconds. And it was 1-0 not long after. But I give credit to Brighton because they came back in. Second half, they really stepped up. They played well and they showed that, listen, every dog has their day. And international break, you got to be ready when it comes back from international break. So we did say, is it a worry? Can they slip up? Can Arsenal catch them with what they got 3 games in hand now, Arsenal?
Yeah, I mean,
is it still plain sailing for Man City?
if Man City win all of their games, they'd be on. I think if Arsenal win all their games, they'd be a point. They'd finish on for like, I think 55, and if Man City win their next 2 games, it would be 56. So, and considering that Man City's next 2 games are West Ham and Liverpool,
Liverpool.
no
We're
disrespect,
good right
James.
now, bruv.
No disrespect, James. But
Apart from this weekend,
Yeah, probably
I expect them to dust both those teams down. If I'm honest, I'd be
Yeah.
surprised if they get any results out of that game.
And I think both those teams are safe now. I think Leicester are pretty much gone.
Yeah, after what happened to them.
Mm.
That Brighton team they're a tricky side, man. They're a bit up and down, but on their day, they can be a lot of teams, and they play some good football.
oh, they play some good football, Bev.
Yeah, we got them soon. I mean, I think it was Sakai's goal. She smashed it near post. Great finish. So I think that it's a
Was it
bit.
poor goalkeeping though? Like,
Yeah, you
from
didn't really
there,
get beat
there's
there,
only
but-
one place you can really score from there, and she kind of shrunk. I don't know. I could be being harsh.
I don't know, because I've seen other goals that we've kind of bigged up that were worse than that. I think you kind of got to give that one to the striker. She did smash it, man, or the midfielder, should I say? But I think that like this just kind of shows that City are going to have to do something in the summer to sign some players, and Chelsea have tried to do something dastardly, haven't they? They're trying to sign Bunny Shaw on a big money contract.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, apparently they've tried to offer. They've offered her a big contract, man. To try.
No, Chelsea are taking their mick. They're moving like Man United used to back in the day, bro. They're taking the best threat away from their rivals, boy. That's mad.
Because they're losing Sam Kerr.
I thought that wasn't sure it was possible.
No, I think she's
sure.
I think she's going.
Where's Sam Kerr going?
I think she's just to Pastors New.
Okay.
So and then they've offered Bunny Shaw like ridiculous money.
Oh, that'd be nasty. Because what we've all said is how are they going to cope if they get Champions League, and you can't then get Champions League and then lose. There's no way. Listen, Man City got too much money, and I don't know. I need to look into it, but I can't see Shaw doing it. I know Chelsea are Chelsea, but Man City have got a lot going on around them.
Yeah, but the kind of peas that they're offering is that can.
I'm sure Man City can match that. They're Man City.
Maybe, but then if they're not, then you would. I think you'd have to, considering that she's probably the best striker in the world at the minute.
I actually wouldn't want to see her go to Chelsea.
It'd be unfair, innit?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see her go to Chelsea because
Chelsea don't even need her, bro.
Yeah,
they got an embarrassing amount of players. The manager hasn't even known what rotation to use this season.
But I think this. But again, it would hurt them, because it would hurt City, because if they're struggling after international breaks, how are they going to cope with Champions League and the WSL as well? And I think that maybe it's just a point in the season when it could be just nerves kicking in, and they have these blips, and then the week after they go and rack a team 5-0.
Yeah, I feel West Ham are gonna. If it's West Ham, it's first.
Unfortunately, James, it's not. I think it's Liverpool next.
I think we might. Oh yeah, 12:00 on Sunday. We might hold a beating.
You might feel their wrath. Brighton were well worth their win, and they took their goals well. I mean, the goal that Healy's second goal, man. She just wanted it more than everybody else.
Yeah, the header.
Everybody out the header. She just played everybody out. She just wanted it more.
Keeper and about 3 Man City players.
Bro, everybody. She took everybody out. Everybody out.
The thing about it is, I feel like City could have probably been away by the time Brighton started
100%.
putting their stake down. And I don't know, again, if it was... I mean, I feel like the good chances fell to Caroline, and any other week, she buries those chances, and I think we all know that. So I feel like it's just another game that we've witnessed with City where they've rued their chances, but this time they've walked away with nothing. Do you get what I mean? And it's like, I don't... Go on, Bev.
The thing is, the chance she took, the goal she scored was harder than the chances that she missed.
Yeah, it was.
It was a cracker. So you would expect them to put those chances away, but sometimes like nerves can kick in at this point of the season, and that's maybe what's happened. They've had an off day. They've had a few. I know they had one a couple of weeks ago. So it's just something that happens. I think it's just a blip, and then they'll sort it out. Because I think in reality,
that's the Villa 0-0.
Yeah.
That's the Villa 0-0. That was the one.
Aston Villa 0-0. But in reality, you'd expect City to bounce back. I can't see them losing it or throwing it away.
Remember last time they had a performance like this, Bev, and then they faced, like, I think it was, who did they face next? And they absolutely slapped them about. What was it? Was it Leicester? Who's it that they faced? And they beat them like 4, 5 or 6. It was something ridiculous. We all laughed about it the week after. We was like, see, told you, that was a blip. You guys, Liverpool, are lucky that they're facing them next week.
Spurs. They beat Spurs 5-2.
That's what, yeah.
After the 0-0.
Yeah, so.
I didn't know that. I just thought, let me just
You want to say it?
I see Leon smirking, you know. I was thinking, he knows, you know. He knows.
I'm just going to let that. I'm just going to let you lot just argue it out.
All right, we move on to the next game. And it was another, it was a bit of a cracker. Everton, and there was a cracker. Everton versus Chelsea. A hat trick that never officially happened. And I don't know, I don't know.
It's not a hat trick, bro.
It's not a hat trick, bro.
I thought they had goal line technology. I don't know why I thought that.
I don't know why you thought that, because we've had another Spurs goal earlier in the season.
Maybe I watched a Champions League game, and that's why I saw it. Maybe it was the Chelsea Arsenal. That's why I got confused in the Champions League. But the ball was way over the line, man.
Oh my gosh.
It was over the line.
My gosh.
Where was that going for her? Because that would have taken her above Kerr. Not Kerr, she is Kerr. That would have taken her above Kirby. So now she's level with Kirby. So you can see that's probably why it's so important as well.
I know we're asking for technology, like goal line technology and stuff like that, but where was the lino? Because it wasn't as though the lino had to run to catch up.
It's on the lino side of the pitch, by the way.
They should see it. They should see it.
See that.
But I don't know. These mistakes, they can happen. And obviously, invariably, it did happen. But yeah, it should have been seen.
Lucky for them though, it's not going to make it didn't have a huge impact on the game.
Yeah, that's what
just
Bonpastor
lucky
said.
for them.
Yeah, Bonpastor said, listen, I could say it now because we've won 4-1, but before we hadn't. What if that goal meant something?
The conversation is totally different.
Did you saw what she did last time when she wore her phone out to say,
yeah. I think this is the second game on the bout. No, that was a couple games ago. But still, it's still tapping into Chelsea, innit? So she's got a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they class showed out in the end, didn't it? Because they just dispatched Everton.
Yeah, but Everton did have the moment. I mean, Momiki's finish.
Bad finish.
Strike.
Yeah.
Like, what a goal. What a goal that was. And I was like, damn. Because that made it 1-1. So I thought, okay, are they going to get back into this? Because they're the ones that they stopped their unbeaten run, innit?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
They beat them early in the season and halted everything. So I thought, hey, are they going to be spoilers again? But nah. They showed their championship mentality. They may not be champions. They're not going to be champions this season, but they showed they still got that fight and that mentality to win. So listen, good result, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll move on swiftly. We'll move on to another cracker, but it's still expected the way Leicester City have been playing the season. London City Lionesses 5, Leicester 1, and it more or less damns Leicester to relegation. Because, yeah, Liverpool lost, but I don't think Leicester were going to ever catch us. And obviously, West Ham beating Liverpool, it was just worse for Leicester. A couple of our favourite players, a couple of my favourite players, Goodwin and Godfrey, scored some good goals in that game as well. But it felt like London City Lions, the biggest result ever in the top division, so they could have scored more. I mean, I think 5-1 probably didn't even do them justice, for being completely honest. The XG of 2.85, 19 shots, 10 on target. That's mad.
That is crazy. That's
So-
crazy.
If they sort out their defensive frailties, yeah, I think they'll be a force, because going forward, they are electric. I'm telling you now, they create a lot of opportunities. And I feel like if they can just sort out, I don't know if it's so much the defense or maybe a more secure, maybe a more composed keeper. But either which way, if they get that sorted in the summer, we could be looking at a different conversation next season. They have acquired a couple of decent players as well, haven't they?
Yeah, the new manager that came in, he's changed them as well, though.
I mean, they have
They've improved since he's come in.
improved, but I think that the gulf at the top is a bit too wide. The class that you have, the level that Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man City are at are
Yeah.
they're a step above, and and they're gonna have to leapfrog Tottenham and Man United as well. I think it's a big ask. I think they'd need a couple of windows to be able to do that, if I'm honest, and to be a bit more consistent. But they dispatched Leicester. The first goal that Leicester scored, I think it was a bit poor defensively, but then after that, it's a bit clumsy. But London City Lionesses just ran away with it, and Geyoro and Godfrey scored a tap-in, which was a bit surprising.
Yeah.
Because usually it's bangers, but this time she came off the bench to score as well. I think it's just
So she can do it all.
yeah.
Okay. So move on to the last game, Liverpool's game. And it'll be quick, it'll be breezy. Liverpool lost 1-0 at home. Haven't been used to being behind that much in 2026. We should have won the game, if we're being completely honest. Own goal from Caprox. And it's one of the ones where you stick your leg out of instinct and then it hits you, and unfortunately it was probably going to go wide, but it goes in the back of the net. But listen, the ladies tried. I give them the credit. Stats-wise, XG-wise, it was even. I think 0.75 to 0.76. But I don't know. I felt watching the game, we had the better of it, but it was just like old troubles coming back to roost, where we just weren't clinical enough. Our final ball wasn't good enough, and we came up against an inspired woman in Cascarino. I mean, I'm pretty sure she cleared it off the line 3 or 4 times, and not exaggeration, off the line 3 or 4 times. It was literally going in and she clears it. So if it wasn't for Cascarino and the goalkeeper was player of the match, it could have been a different story. But listen, we've been on a good run. It's a bit of a speed bump, I believe. Not great when you've got Man City coming up, but hey, you never know. We might put a spanner in the works and beat Man City next week. But we move on. Move on to player of the week. And Lamont, who is your player of the week?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna have to give it to Kerr. I feel like she deserved the hat trick. I know she didn't get it because obviously, decision was given in her favour, but next to Lauren James, who kind of ran the show, she was just doing the business up top, which is what she does every week. And her leveling Kirby's record is no easy feat. And yeah, Sam Kerr.
I'm going to give it to Madison Haley for Brighton, with her brace giving Brighton a shock win over what we thought was the champions-elect. But you never know what can happen. So yeah, well done to her for putting a spanner in the works in City's title charge.
Yeah, I agree with Leon. Madison Haley. I was going to give it for her 2 goals, and like I said, the last one for just going for the ball and wiping everyone out to show a lot of desire to get it. You know what I mean? That's what you want to see from players. And if it was against your team, you'd be vexed.
Yeah.
But yeah, bigger up.
I guess we're split this week because I'm going for Sam Kerr. Echo what Lamont said, the record and the 3 goals that it should have been. She should have been celebrating fully this weekend. So, the moment of the weekend. What was your moment of the weekend?
Yeah, so my moment of the week will be Mamiki at 30-yarder. Boy, it was a special goal, mate. I can't lie.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. That was my moment of the weekend as well. Seeing Hannah Hampton off the line, quick thinking, it's a brilliant strike, well executed into the top corner.
I think my moment of the weekend is going to have to go to Sam Kerr not getting a hat-trick because the Lionel was having a cup of tea. I think, yeah, that's what I'm giving it this week.
Now, Mamiki, when I watched it, you actually watch a game, and I was like, yeah, that's my moment of the week. When I saw her score it, I was like, yeah, that's my moment of the week. I knew it straight away. And I would like to go for Kerr, but unfortunately, I'm not going to give the line. I'm not going to give light to the line. I'm not doing their job properly.
If obviously it denied her a hat trick, but had that have been a 2-1 or it was an
0-0.
equaliser or
Yeah.
something like that, yeah, it would have been a madness. So
Kerr does get ratings because she, like I said previously, and we've said it more than once on the show, she's now Chelsea's joint top all-time goal scorer. So that still is a good moment for her. So, we've come to the end of this week's show. Game week 20 of the WSL is now over, and we look forward to next week. 2 rounds to go, well, a bit more for Arsenal. So we'll see who wins. We all think it's going to be Man City, but we never know. Take it easy, guys. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to hit the notification button. This has been Armchair Pundits. Peace out.